Today we're going to answer the question whether or not cheap Chinese tires are as good as, or maybe even better than the high dollar name brand ones. And also, by viewer request, I'm wearing a Baylor shirt, and maybe even we'll do some upside down recording. Since I just got these tires put on yesterday, you see they're very dirty and not shined up, certainly not WJ Handy Dad standards. So what I typically do, I like this Wesley's Bletch White, however you say that, for the actual tires, and then the Armor All Wheel and Tire for the wheels. You can obviously just use the Armor All on both. You cannot use the Wesley's, at least arguably not on the wheels. You never want to let this stuff sit very long on your wheels. So once you've hit every area as best you can, or as best as you can see, I like to rinse them off before I go to the next wheel. I'll do the same thing to the other three tires. Now, you know I'm a big 303 person. However, I do also like to try different products from time to time, and I'm given this graphene acrylic tire shine, the Turtle Wax Hybrid Solutions, a trial here. Paid for it myself. It's not sponsored or anything. Bought this with my own money. So what they say is you got to shake it very well and then spray it directly onto the tire and let it soak in for a good 3 to 5 minutes, and then wipe it in with a microfiber cloth is what they say. I also tend to use this tire brush. I'll do this on all 4 tires. So while that's soaking in, the other thing they say is to do it a second time for best results. So I got these tires put on yesterday, and what I usually do is check and see. Sometimes they are directional tires when they're these high performance tires. I didn't see any indicators on here for inside outside. A couple reasons why I check. One, I've had it where they put them on backwards. Sometimes they try to overthink, and so they're like, oh, well, if I put that side on with outside on the outside, then maybe this side I need to put inside on the outside. And I'm like, no, it's, you put outside on the outside and it just works. Number 2, there was a case involving a really bad wreck that happened to a friend of mine, and one of the defendants was the tire mounting company, because they mounted directional tires on backwards. And let me just say, there was millions of dollars involved in the verdict. So even though between you, me, and the fence post, I don't think it makes a huge difference having them on backwards, nonetheless they're meant to go on a certain way, so you want to make sure that they put them on that way. Number 2, I always check the air pressure and make sure that they filled them properly. And number 3, I usually undo the lug nuts a turn or so and then torque them properly, because I find a lot of tire places they go and they don't torque anything. And while the air gun method may be quick and easy, it's not accurate. And just so you know, the reason you torque the lug nuts, I mean, obviously you don't want them under torqued so they come off, but the reason you torque them with a torque wrench is because you want even pressure on there so it doesn't warp your rotors prematurely. In about 3 to 5 minutes, you see what the brush does. It just spreads it in nice and evenly. And the second coat has soaked in now for 3 to 5 minutes. I've been using this bottle, it's almost empty, and my initial gut reaction is it's not better than the 303, so I won't buy another bottle, but I'll continue to use this one up. It's probably good for maybe one more vehicle's 4 tires. There's just a little bit in the bottom. The next thing I noticed is right in here, there's like a little bit of bend or damage. I don't remember seeing that before, and they were taking a really long time with my tires yesterday. So I wonder if they bent the rim, getting the old one off or something, and maybe tried to fix it. Because it seemed like it took 3 times as long as normal to get the tires swapped out. And yes, I desperately need to polish and wax the wheels, or possibly even paint them. Now with the tire shine on there, the wheels look really bad. So anyway, back to the original purpose of the video. These are Milestar MS 932 Sports. They have a 540 tread rating, an A traction and temperature rating. They're 245 55 18s and a 103 V speed rating. And they cost me, I want to say it was 120 or 127, somewhere in there, a piece. And I think they were the cheapest tires that you could get that were 245 55 18s, and certainly in the proper speed rating for this vehicle. So I've driven on them one day, and my initial impression is they are great. The road noise is diminished substantially from the Goodyear RSAs that were on here before. Now, let me mention, I am not a fan of Goodyear RSA tires. I think they are terrible, terrible in the rain, terrible on dry roads. They're obviously very noisy, etc., etc., etc. I mean, literally, I don't like them so much, I don't even know that I would put a set on a car if I was giving them free. It's interesting because so many departments use them and they're not cheap. But anyway, I would say just initially, these are way better. And I'm the same way with the Firestone Firehawk Pursuits. Those are like 330, maybe more now with inflation. Again, they perform okay, but I've had 2 blowouts, both of which were Firehawk Pursuits. I've been driving over 30 years and I've had 2 blowouts, and they were both the same tire. That's really weird. Okay, so before you say, well, Gary, one day you can't tell if a tire's that much better or not, I will point you to the Charger, which has Nankang 245 55 18s, ultra high performance all season, Bordenex NS25, also a 103 V speed rating. My understanding is these tires are basically the exact same thing as the Milestars that I put on the Taurus. Could be wrong, but that was my understanding, that this was what I bought when these were available. These say they were made in 2020, so I think I've had these for 2 years. I'll check and put the date that I got them, but I've been driving them for that long, and I've loved them. They've held up well, great traction, rain, shine, whatever, and no complaints at all. Very comfortable, quiet ride. And again, I want to say these were like 120, maybe less a tire. And again, when you're talking about a 245 55 18, that's usually not a cheap tire. So obviously this is not conclusive evidence. I'm sure somebody out there is going to say they had this exact tire and they had problems with it. And I'm sure there's somebody out there that's going to say they buy nothing but Firestone Firehawk Pursuits, and they have no problems with them. And there's probably somebody out there that says the RSA has got the greatest traction they've ever had, and that's all they buy. I'm just saying, for my purposes, I have loved these cheap Chinese tires, and I will continue to buy them until such time that I have any issues with them. But so far, they've been great, and I will continue to buy them.
One other issue, and it's not really completely the tire shop's fault, is these stupid valve stems that are tied to the TPMS. That's an engineering problem, I think. So they said they cannot change out the valve stems because they're specially tied to the TPMS and they don't have those in stock. So basically you get stuck with what's quite possibly the original 2014 valve stems. I don't know, but anyway, that's a common failure point in an area that when it fails usually causes a blowout. It's real easy to remedy. You make the valve stem a valve stem, and you replace the valve stem every time you change tires. I don't know why they think they need to make it an integrated thing that you can't just replace. I mean, I have my theories. It's all about money, but what they stupidly don't realize is when you piss off customers, we don't buy from you again. We want to buy something that's easy